So the Donald Trump clown show continues.
So what's going on today?
So they're meeting in Switzerland, I believe it's Geneva, for the next couple of days. And I heard they met for about 8 hours.
Oh, the Korean says 10 hours. So maybe Korean just include like lunchtime, dinner time, so total 10 hours?
It could be, but you know, I actually heard that the Americans had food by themselves. It literally was reported that because I think they wanted to have a working, you know, lunch, working dinner, but I'm assuming the Chinese like didn't want to do it. So because it was actually in the reporting, I thought that was kind of funny. They did mention the meal times.
Maybe they offer. Oh, you like McDonald's? Chinese said no.
No. Who knows? Trump made a statement regarding the meeting. This is coming from Trump. He says, "A very good meeting today with China in Switzerland. Many things discussed, much agreed to. A total reset negotiated in a friendly but constructive manner. We want to see for the good of both China and the U.S. an opening up of China to American businesses. Great progress made." That's according to Trump. Now, this statement's officially from China and U.S. The teams didn't say anything.
How about China?
Yeah, so China did make a statement, but like the actual negotiating teams didn't really say anything. So whether Trump saying they agreed to something, I would let's say Trump doesn't always, well, he often doesn't tell the truth. That's a better way to say it.
Yeah.
So here's some official statements from China. This is coming from the their news over there. The United States' reckless abuse of tariffs. Interesting. Reckless abuse of tariffs has flagrantly contravened World Trade Organization rules and destabilized the global economic order. Now, this is just a translation, so it may come off differently in China. But when they use the word flagrant in basketball and sports, we have a thing called a flagrant foul. There's different levels of how you could hurt someone, like foul, someone, or like in soccer you have yellow flag, red flag. So this would be like a red flag of tariffs. It's kind of the language that they're using. It's kind of funny, and this is from China directly. So they're picking the words. This is not like random stuff. They also say this: far from serving any legitimate purpose, these punitive duties, that means like punishing, these punitive duties represent a deliberate attempt to upend the multilateral trade system, inflicting damage on the rightful interests of countries around the world. So, and the language goes on this over and over, where China keeps accusing USA of you're the one who did all these things. And it's not untrue, because Trump was literally the one who put all the tariffs on. And then they go on to say you're going to cause market volatility. So, who knows what market's going to be up to. You're going to make it more inflation in USA. You're going to hurt your own industry, and you're going to raise the risk of recession. So China's coming out swinging, and Trump's just saying, we're making all sorts of deals. And I mean, literally, Trump's words were, great progress made. So it's very different points of view there.
The funny thing is, the Trump says positive rate, right? But even the Korean, some of Korea, the comment is really funny that the Korean says that, oh, he just doing even they say everything's going well, but he stabs your bag a few days later.
This is what they're saying in Korea. Yeah, so Trump's a backstabber, that'd be one.
Yeah.
What else?
And there's he's lying too much, and you gotta actually read a positive way. He says good, it means bad. He says bad, it's good.
Oh, okay. Whatever Trump says, read it the opposite way.
Opposite way. So and people say he's just word party.
Word party.
Yeah. So even Korean doesn't believe Trump.
Yeah, and so it is a tough sell, because Trump always says everything's the greatest of all time, and so how do you take this guy seriously if everything's the greatest of all time? Or I just had
or if something's bad, it's all about Biden. Oh
yeah. It's when in doubt, it's Biden's fault. So from the Trump point of view, I see it in comments all the time. I read it. They'll say, "But Chris, you're so dumb. China's really, really suffering over there, and why don't you talk about that?" So I'll address that. Actually, the Trump tariffs are hurting everyone.
Everybody.
Yeah. So what's going on right now in China is they're having deflation. I've mentioned it several times on the channel. This is even before the tariff situation. So basically, Trump's making the economy worse in China. The same way it's the same in USA. If people were already suffering from inflation, meaning that you feel like stuff costs too much and keeps going up more, it's going to be more, even more. I don't say more of the same. We'll say worse. Because even today, they were saying the ships coming in now are now going to face.
Yeah.
The Chinese ships are coming into the USA now. Basically, you're going to pay more tax, 145% tariffs, and it's like all kinds of brands. I was reading the list here, so just give you guys an idea. Amazon, Home Depot, IKEA, Ralph Lauren, Tractor Supply, Procter & Gamble, LG, Samsung.
Everything.
Well, it's interesting because LG and Samsung are actually Korean brands.
Korean brand, but we do have factory in China.
Yeah. I mean, everything's made in China, basically, right? So, like, mouse pads, sofas, your boots, all kinds of stuff. And so I think a lot of people who like believe Trump, because Trump has been telling everyone that China's going to pay for the tariffs, and basically the tax, and then they figure out like, no, you're paying. There's going to be a lot of unhappy people, and so that's why I was saying like, it's not just China suffering; it's also USA. Now, in China, the situation is different than US. Is they're having a hard time getting people to spend. People are just worried about the future, or they don't have any money at all, right? The difference in USA, this last I don't know, month or so, I guess you could say, companies and people were out just buying up a storm before the tariffs hit.
Yeah.
Because people are it's kind of like, you know how you go out and buy stuff when stuff's on sale? So this is like going out to buy stuff before
tariff, basically.
Yeah, but I'm trying to think, it's like, what's the opposite of a sale? Is there an opposite of a sale? I mean, stores do say buy now before prices go up. They do say it. Or it's kind of like the coupon only lasts for so long.
It's that you don't shop before Black Monday.
The Black Friday is the day after Thanksgiving. Yeah, I mean, it's kind of like that. But people knew the tariffs were coming, and so some people did make major purchases. Here in Korea, actually, we have a similar thing to what's going on in China. So again, they're having a hard time getting people to spend. So when people don't want to spend money, then you keep lowering prices until they want to spend. There's been a lot of stimulus recently. It's actually been the car industry.
Yeah.
So the government announced a thing. I want to say it's like 1.5% in sales tax reduction, something like that, on cars. They've also been giving stimulus to try to get loans going again. It's a similar thing in China, but you have to understand, governments can, you can only do so much to get people to spend. If someone doesn't want to spend, they're not, you can't force them to spend. Yeah. So some things you'll do is okay, fine, we'll make it so that the interest rates will come down, or we'll make it so that banks will not have to hold so much cash. Or sometimes if a government gets really mean and really aggressive, they could fine a bank for not giving out enough loans.
Yeah.
Really encourage people to lend out money. But I just want you to understand, in a modern economy, this idea that the way to keep things going is by lending money. There's going to be a point where it doesn't make sense anymore, right? I mean, how much more can we all borrow if we can't pay it back?
Yeah, right? Even here in Korea, the small shops, they say, it's more hard time than Corona era.
Oh, now?
Yeah, now.
Why would they say that, I wonder?
I don't know. After Corona, I don't know. Everything keep going down.
Demand.
Yeah, so they already had a lot of loan from the bank.
Okay.
But even the Corona era, at that time, the government support a lot. But now there is no reason to support.
Okay. So that's, JD's bringing up a good point. So, economies go up and down, right? And and I mentioned sometimes on the channel, I like to talk about birth rates or population growth, because the easiest way to think about this is that, say the housing situation, if your population is growing, you need more places to live, right? But what if your population is not growing? So then you don't need to build any new houses, just for example, in this example. And so then things, slow down. You don't need new material. You don't need, new tools, these kind of things. So that sort of changes your economy. Or if another simple example is let's say people have less kids. What does that do to, say, the school uniform industry? These kinds of things are where you orient. And then Korea is a similar situation in USA to where, and China's a similar situation as well. Is just you have, for example, in China they have the one-child policy. So by definition, you will have more older people than you would younger people.
I understand. So a lot of the small shop in Korea, there suffers a lot.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
we see a lot of, even the main road, we see a lot of rent sign.
Yeah, yeah. We've been actually noticing that all around here, and so we are close to China, so we have certainly connections economically, these kind of things, and it's going to be similar in parts of the USA. And so the situation, the Trump solution then is, okay, let's just tax everyone even more. It's like I understand that we already have kind of a precarious economic situation worldwide, and Trump's making this even worse. Now, where is this going to go from here? That's the big question. China's basically saying we're not going to budge,
Yeah.
and they kind of essentially their point of view is like they want USA to admit that they made the mistake. It's all the USA's fault.
You tied, you untie.
Yeah, yeah. So the saying is, and this is like like a Chinese saying is, person who, what do you want to say?
Yeah, person who tied, you got to untie.
Yeah, person who tied the knot, you need them to untie the knot, right? So, which I think is reasonable that Trump, raised the tariffs until
Clean.
we had to censor that out. Yeah. It is what it is. But so Trump was suggesting that maybe he'll do an 80% tariff.
That's his thing.
Right now it's 145. He's like, oh, I'll be nice. And then China's point of view in the negotiation thing is until you go to that zero, right? We got nothing to talk about. Now, supposedly in this first day of meetings, the USA said these are all the things that we want, and supposedly the Chinese said these are all the things that we want. But we already kind of know what each side wants, so I don't know. And then we're going to go to round 2, which is day 2. So if there's any more announcements tomorrow, we'll let you guys know, but that's the latest update, and we want to hear your thoughts. What do you think of this trade war, and how's it going to end? That's the thing we want to hear from you. So do appreciate you guys watching, everyone, and we'll catch you on the next video. So bye.